At the annual family reunion, I was assigned the worst room during our stay. Unbeknownst to my family, I was the owner of the hotel. I chose to stay silent and observe. The reunion was a tradition my mother fiercely upheld. For me, it was always a weekend filled with comparisons and sharp jabs, and this year promised more of the same. But there was a twist. The grand hotel hosting us was now mine, inherited from my grandfather 6 months prior in secret. Stepping into the lobby of Hotel Miramar, my pulse quickened. I watched my sister, Lucia, the family's darling, enveloped in warm embraces and smiles. My arrival went unnoticed until my mother spotted me, her face tightening. "Carmen, I didn't expect you," she said, her tone laced with displeasure. "I wouldn't skip our family tradition," I replied, forcing a smile that didn't reach my heart. My brother-in-law, Roberto, Lucia's husband, scanned my attire with a smirk. "Graphic design not paying off, huh?" he quipped. My agency was thriving globally, but I let their assumptions slide. What stung most was my hidden truth. This elegant hotel, with its lush gardens and sea views, was mine. My grandfather had always seen potential in me that my family overlooked. "We've assigned the rooms," my mother declared, as the manager Miguel distributed keys. Lucia and Roberto got the oceanfront presidential suite, my parents an executive suite, my cousins deluxe rooms. "Carmen, you're in room 108, first floor by the laundry," she said, the smallest, noisiest room. Some cousins looked embarrassed, others hid smirks. Miguel hesitated. "We could find another room for her," he offered, but my mother cut him off. "No need. Carmen's fine with simple things." Miguel's concerned glance met mine. He knew I owned the hotel, but respected my wish to keep it secret for now. "Room 108 is fine," I said calmly, taking the key. In the elevator, I overheard my cousin Daniela whisper, "Carmen always gets the scraps." The room was cramped, with a view of the service area and the relentless hum of washing machines. Sitting on the narrow bed, I exhaled deeply. I wasn't here to expose my family or flaunt my ownership. I wanted to understand why, at 30, they still saw me as lesser. At the welcome dinner, my family claimed the prime table, my seat tucked behind a pillar. They ordered lavish dishes while I chose a modest salad. "Can't afford more, Carmen?" my father asked, half mocking, half pitying. "The salad's enough," I replied evenly. The talk centered on Lucia's latest promotion and her upscale new home. "Lucia always had ambition," my mother beamed. "Unlike Carmen, wasting her life on drawings." The head chef, Antonio, approached, giving me a subtle nod. "Was the salad to your satisfaction, Miss Carmen?" he asked respectfully. My family exchanged puzzled looks. "You know the chef?" Lucia asked, surprised. "We've met before," I said vaguely, having hired Antonio months ago. As the wine flowed, their jabs grew sharper. The weight of my secret grew heavier. Should I reveal I owned the hotel? What would they do, knowing their insults were thrown in my domain? Miguel approached discreetly. "Miss Carmen, there's an urgent matter." Roberto sneered. "What, out of sketch pads?" I excused myself and followed Miguel to my private office. "I can't stand how they treat you," he said. "You're the owner." I nodded. "I know, but there's a deeper family wound I need to uncover." Back at the table, my family savored gourmet desserts. My Aunt Elena, ever perceptive, asked, "Why did that employee need you, Carmen?" I shrugged. "Just a mix-up with bookings," Lucia muttered to Roberto, loud enough for me to hear. "Typical Carmen, always causing trouble. Miss Daniela?" Daniela's eyes narrowed, scanning the office skeptically. "Isn't it odd they let you in here? They wouldn't even show us this place." "Maybe I'm not as unimportant as you all think," I said, meeting her stare. A flicker of uncertainty crossed her face, a first for her. "You were always grandfather's favorite," she said slowly. "We all knew it, even if no one admitted it." When Daniela left, I realized my secret was on borrowed time. My family would soon grow suspicious, and I'd have to decide, endure their slights or reveal that I, the overlooked Carmen, owned the empire they envied. That evening at the formal gala, the tension that had simmered since my arrival erupted. offering a chance for retribution I hadn't known I craved. The hotel's grand hall sparkled with fresh roses, flickering candles, crystal glassware, and crisp linens. I arrived late on purpose, in a sleek black dress I'd designed myself. "There you are," my mother snapped, irritation clear. "We nearly ordered without you." I took my assigned seat, the worst at the table, half hidden. Roberto, already tipsy, bragged about his latest ventures. "Snagged 3 coastal properties last month," he boasted. "With the right moves, I could own a place like this one day." Lucia beamed. "My husband has vision, unlike some who settle for sketching logos." My father raised his glass. "To Roberto and Lucia, our family's pride." Everyone toasted, but I left my glass untouched. No one seemed to care. Daniela, however, watched me closely. Then she spoke. "Carmen, I saw you in the hotel's private office today. You looked right at home." The table fell silent, all eyes on me. "What were you doing in a restricted area?" my father demanded, brow furrowed. I sipped my water. "Just looking into some hotel matters." "Why would you care?" my mother pressed. "It's not like you're buying a hotel." Roberto roared with laughter. "Carmen? Owning this place? That's rich. She can't even get a decent room." Miguel approached with a bottle of rare champagne. "Miss Carmen, the champagne you ordered for your family," he said. My mother blinked, confused. "We didn't order any." "It's on me," I said smoothly, cutting in. "From you?" Lucia sputtered. "How could you afford a bottle worth more than your rent?" Miguel poured while I stayed composed. The table's tension was electric. "There's a lot you don't know about me," I said simply. My father's eyes narrowed. "What's that supposed to mean, Carmen? Speak plainly." I weighed my choices. I could expose my secret now, let their years of mockery crash down on them. Revenge was within reach. But looking at their faces, I felt a shift. I didn't want to mirror their cruelty. "Just a gesture," I said, "to celebrate us being together, despite everything." Their stunned expressions said it all. They hadn't expected kindness from me after their treatment. Dinner continued, but the air had changed. Daniela studied me as if seeing me anew. During dessert, Lucia brought up grandfather's inheritance. "I never got why he sold this hotel secretly. It was our legacy." "Maybe he knew some would exploit it," I said, eyeing my father and Roberto. "What's that supposed to mean?" Roberto snapped, defensive. "Nothing," I replied calmly. "Just that grandfather was sharper than people thought." My father shifted uneasily. "Carmen, if you know something about the sale, tell us." "Now I'm family?" I asked. "Funny, earlier I was the poor relation who didn't deserve a proper room." Silence gripped the table. My mother tried to pivot, but I pressed on. "Grandfather shared a lot with me while you were all busy. He spoke of his vision for the hotel, his legacy." "What did he say?" Lucia asked, curiosity breaking through. "He said a family business mirrors its keeper's values," I replied, pausing, "and to beware of false facades." Roberto slammed the table. "Enough games. Say it straight." The general manager approached. "Is everything to your liking, especially for you, Miss Carmen?" My family bristled at the deference I received. "Perfect, Javier. Like royalty," my father demanded. I took a breath. I hadn't planned to reveal my secret yet, but the moment was ripe. "Because they respect my work," I said. "Drawing logos?" Roberto scoffed. "I build brands for global firms," I corrected. "My agency has 30 employees, clients on 3 continents, and last year's revenue hit $3 million. Shock rippled across their faces. My mother nearly dropped her glass. "You're lying," Lucia accused. "If you were that successful, you'd have bragged." "I don't need your approval," I said. "There's a difference between humility and letting you treat me like dirt." "Why stay in that awful room then?" my mother asked, baffled. "To see how far you'd go," I said. "To understand if your disdain had a limit." My words landed heavily. For the first time, I saw guilt on some faces. Not all, but enough. "Carmen," my father started, but I cut him off. "I'm not done," I said firmly. "For years, I swallowed your jabs, your pity, your scorn, all because I didn't fit your mold of success. I chose creation over destruction, building over scheming. My voice held steady despite trembling hands. Grandfather taught me worth isn't in possessions or appearances, but in how you treat others. He saw something in me you were too busy to notice. The silence was heavy, their faces a mix of shock, shame, and dawning awareness. If this is true, my father said, why hide it? Would you have listened? I asked, or just found another way to dismiss me? He had no reply. Dinner ended in strained quiet. As others left, Daniela lingered. I always knew you were different, she whispered. Grandfather told me to watch you, learn from you. I get it now. Our eyes locked in understanding. There's more, isn't there? She pressed. Something about this hotel? I nodded. Tomorrow everyone will know. After taxes. His face shifted, a mix of shock and reluctant admiration. At 10, Miguel approached. Miss Carmen, the presentation you requested is ready. My family eyed me oddly. I arranged a talk on the hotel's history, I said, standing. Given its importance to Grandfather, I thought you'd want to see it. We moved to the grand conference room, its wide windows framing the ocean. Inside, I was surprised to see not just the management team, but also a familiar, dignified, older man, Arturo Mendez, Grandfather's lawyer. What's going on, Carmen? My father asked, voice tense. Please sit, I said, gesturing to the front row. Once seated, I stood before them, heart racing but voice steady. Thank you for coming. This hotel was Grandfather Ernesto's pride, built from a modest inn into a coastal gem. I started the projector, displaying vintage photos of the hotel's early days. My family watched, caught between nostalgia and unease. What you may not know, I continued, is what happened to the hotel after his death. My mother stiffened. Grandfather sold it before he passed. We never knew to whom. Not quite, Mendez interjected, standing beside me. Don Ernesto didn't sell. He placed it in a trust. A trust? My father echoed, brow creased. Why weren't we told? It wasn't your concern, Mendez said coolly. The trust had one beneficiary. All eyes turned to me, realization dawning. No way, Lucia whispered. I nodded. Grandfather left me the hotel. I've owned it for 6 months. Silence gripped the room, heavy with shock, disbelief, and outrage. Roberto spoke first. Why you, of all people, for his prized asset? Good question, I said, locking eyes with my parents. Mom might know. Her face paled. I don't know what you mean. I found your letters, I said. The ones urging Grandfather I wasn't worthy of his attention or inheritance. Gasps echoed. My mother shrank in her seat. There's more, I said. Miguel handed each family member a folder. Inside were copies of emails, shady purchase offers, and undervalued appraisals from my father and Roberto, scheming to buy the hotel cheap. This is misconstrued, my father stammered. No, Mendez said. Don Ernesto shared these with me. That's why he changed his will, entrusting the hotel to Carmen, the only one he believed would honor his legacy. Roberto leapt up, face flushed. This is a setup. You manipulated him or the lawyer. You can't handle a business like this. The numbers say otherwise, I replied evenly. In 6 months, revenue's up 18%. Guest satisfaction soared, and we're up for 2 hospitality awards. Miguel nodded, the management team radiating pride. My mother, bewildered, asked, If you own it, why stay in that awful room? Why let us treat you that way? The question I'd anticipated. To understand, I said, voice cracking with emotion. To see if you truly thought me worthless, or if there was a deeper reason for your scorn. Tears welled, but I held firm. What I found hurt more than I expected. It wasn't that you saw no value in me, I continued. You feared others, especially Grandfather seeing my worth. My mother's gaze dropped, unable to meet mine. The letters make it clear, Mom. You couldn't bear that Grandfather loved me, that he saw something in me. Why? I asked. What did I do? A stifled sob broke the silence. My mother, crumbling under years of hidden truths, whispered, You were too much like him. Your spark, your view of the world. He said you were his mirror, his entrepreneurial soul. She paused, voice trembling. I was never enough for him. When you came along, so creative, so driven, he lit up in a way he never did for me. Her confession hit like a tidal wave. Decades of jealousy, a rivalry I never knew existed. So you ensured I'd never shine, I said, pain and clarity mixing. You convinced everyone my dreams were worthless. She didn't deny it. Turning to my father, I added, and you saw a chance. If I stayed sidelined, I wouldn't threaten your hotel schemes. He looked older, defeated. Lucia sat silent, absorbing the family's unraveling dynamics. Then I made my choice. Despite it all, I said, breaking the heavy quiet, I'm still family. My words hung, startling them. This isn't about settling scores, I went on. I could have shamed you, kicked you out, mirrored your cruelty, but that would only deepen our family's wounds. My mother's tearful eyes held shame and awe. When grandfather gave me this hotel, I didn't fully grasp why. Now I do. It wasn't just business, it was a chance to mend us. I turned to the sea, its vastness echoing grandfather's office view. He left something else, I said. A letter, to be read 6 months after I took over. Today, Mendez handed me an envelope. Don Ernesto's final wish, he said, to be shared with the family. My hands shook as I opened it, revealing grandfather's familiar script. I read aloud. Dear family, if you're hearing this, Carmen is now Hotel Miramar's owner, and it's time you know why. This hotel is my legacy, but legacy isn't just buildings or profit. It's the values we pass on. I watched our family fracture, saw the disdain for Carmen, who embodies my spirit most. Isabel, my daughter, competed with her own child to prove herself to me. It was never needed. I loved you for you. Roberto and Lucia chased status over substance. True success lies in integrity. I entrusted Carmen with the hotel not just for her skill, but for her heart, to heal our family's rifts. My wish is for this truth to spark reflection, to own past wrongs, and forge a future of respect over rivalry, where love outshines ambition. The hotel is Carmen's, but its spirit is yours if you embrace a new path. With love, Ernesto. Tears glistened in the room, even among staff. My mother spoke first. All this time, she whispered, competing with my daughter to prove something to a father who already loved me. She approached, voice raw. Carmen, can you ever forgive me? I was blinded by my fears. My father broke and said he was right. I chased approval, forgetting what matters. Lucia rose, facing me. I never saw why he chose you, she said. Now I do. I chased his praise. You sought his wisdom. Roberto, unmoved, stood. So we're supposed to grovel now? Applaud you for an empire you didn't earn? Roberto, I said calmly, the hotel's mine, but our family's future depends on us all. Mendez cleared his throat. There's a codicil. Don Ernesto allowed Carmen, at her discretion, to share minority stakes with family members who uphold his values. The room tensed, hope and fear mingling. I don't want groveling for shares, I said. Grandfather wanted real reconciliation, not greed-driven change. What's your plan? My father asked, listening intently. I exhaled. This was my moment to turn pain into progress.